Our next guest is a beloved artist whose songs have become the soundtrack to countless moments over the years.
Everyone was wrong.
He knows how to write a hit, he has his own podcast, and he's celebrating 20 years of his album Awake is the New Sleep.
We're all in this together.
Please welcome Ben Lee.
Welcome.
Hello.
I feel so welcomed. That was such a grand intro.
Grand. Welcome back.
Deservedly so.
We were just saying, you earlier today you were performing just on level 3 downstairs in what we call the Tina Arena.
Yes.
And then 20 years ago, you were in that room just there doing the same thing.
I know. I'm trying to work through all the various rooms in this building, not just the radio stations. I feel like there's some marketing companies and some VC firms, but I'm trying to just eventually by the end of my career, I just want to kind of lock out this building.
Yeah, a lot of things don't change. Even Tim's still
Very
here.
familiar faces.
Yeah, he's our
Bopping along.
barnacle.
It's lovely to see you. And 20 years. I mean, Awake is the new sleep. 20 years. It kind of, does it feel like 20 years or does it not feel like 20 years or both?
It's funny. It's very weird. I mean, I think for a lot of musicians, artists, just creative people in general, we are always pushing forward and we very rarely take a moment to even pause and look back. I've actually been quite resistant to that type of, I'm not a nostalgic person. It wasn't until I think Throwback Thursdays became a thing that I realized you kind of have to look back at least once a week. Yeah. And I think, so indirectly, I think #TBT was really responsible for this 20th anniversary tour.
And I love that you've come in with the same radio plugger that you did this with 20 years ago. Talk about nostalgia.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because mostly, I mean, I have been on major labels intermittently throughout my career, but mostly I've been relatively indie or working through larger indies or distributors or whatever. So the teams that you have had that I've had successes with, they're it's quite emotional. You know, you have quite it's quite a bond because you really are. It's David and Goliath. When you put out an indie record and you're trying to get that to be a hit, it's hard work. So you go through a lot, you know. What
was that like 20 years ago when this album came out? Did you know that it was going to do what it ended up doing? I mean, I guess you always hope and you have you want it to.
No, it was a big part of the Cash My Disease success. You have to admit.
Yeah, no, for sure. Respect.
Yeah.
No, I think I think as a songwriter, you can't finish a song unless you believe it's possibly the best song you've ever written.
Yeah, but not every single one is.
No, but you tried. You believe it's possible. And then I sort of think about success sometimes more generally that, long careers have ups and downs. I call it periods when the phone's ringing and periods when it isn't.
The diary's a little clearer.
It goes like that. No need to consult the iCal. I know I've got an opening.
I can sleep in today all week, in fact.
I think we'll be all right. But I do think sometimes you feel yourself kind of more or less in sync with the zeitgeist. Yeah. And you kind of go I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it feels like something's going to happen. So I think that was one of those periods.
I feel like there's with songs sometimes I call it the slap you on the table moment. I feel like when there's a song, when there is something and this is going to be the one, it's at the right time, it's the right temperature, everything else. And I also heard you say something about finding something that you deeply hate in your heart and using that as your inspiration rather than following the trend of what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. When I meet young musicians now, I'd say that the two things that are obstacles for them is they're too aware of their data. Yeah. Meaning their demographics, who their audience is. Oh. They know exactly who their audience is. And in some ways that makes artists, I think, pigeonhole themselves too early instead of experimenting and making music that you never know, So I think that's an obstacle. And the other one is that they're too politically aware within the industry of who has power and don't offend this person and don't. And I think speaking your mind, and you have to, that old thing they say, you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. Artists, it's okay to look at someone's career and go, whatever that is, I do not want to do that. Yeah. I want to do the opposite of that. I don't like that. It puts a bad taste in my mouth. Morally, no problem. Go about your life. It's all good. You're not going to hell, but that is not for me. And then I think finding that distaste is actually part of finding out who you are.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful perspective. I really love that. But also, do you think that it's hard? Do you think it's hard for, particularly with the landscape now of music, it's so much harder to cut through. There's so much more music, and with Spotify and DSPs and all of that. Look, is it harder for young artists to be that picky and that choosy, or is it easier for them to follow a trend?
Look, I think
to try and fit in, to try and be something that someone else is being. Like it's hard.
Yeah, but there's always been pressure to conform. I mean, that's whether you look at like music from the 1950s, and then like Bob Dylan was like, I'm going to write my own songs. You know, it's sort of like there's always that challenge. But I think I know for me, so if I let Spotify run and just, whatever, let the algorithm pick what's. Yeah. I've noticed in the last year, there's two things I've discovered musically through that. And they were things that literally my ears just went, what is that? One of them is this lo-fi British artist who came up through the 80s called Cleaners from Venus, which I'd never heard.
Okay.
I've been like, this is unreal. And the other was Good Luck Babe, Chapel Roan.
Oh, yeah.
And both of them were legitimately brilliant things that stood apart from anything else, and that's what attracted me to it. So I'm still a believer that, look, there's no guarantees, but you stand a much better chance of finding your audience and your peers by being yourself and being unique than you do by trying to sound like everything else.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And that's the end of my sermon.
No, I want to know, like, how does one celebrate, like, the 20 years, aside from, performing in the Tina Arena at the Nova Sydney HQ? Like, how do you celebrate? Is that something you do? Or
well, I decided, I'm going to do. I'd never done one of these tours before where you play an album all the way through.
Are you doing it track by track?
And
or
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And it's funny because I'd never even really been to one of those shows, but then I liked the way Missy did it.
Yes.
She did it, and I thought it was really well done. And then I saw the Lemonheads.
I saw you at the Missy gig, by the way.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, we did "Laid" by James.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
And she also made everybody cry immensely at the start.
Yeah.
That was a hectic gig.
Well, it was pretty funny because I hadn't heard her, not funny, but I hadn't heard her new material at that point.
Oh my God.
So I was like, yeah, we'll just get up there and sing. And then I go, oh, we're offering catharsis to women in their 30s and 40s going through a divorce. I was like, this is going to be a trickier thing to pivot.
I said that ticket at the State Theatre should have come with a little Kleenex.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Therapy.
But yes, I'm going to do this big tour, and part of it though is just sort of trying to approach it without being too precious.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't buy into the idea that the past was better or this or that, So it's just like celebrating in a fun way. You're doing some, like, I don't know, sharing content that, like, I shared like the Pitchfork review of Awake Is in Your Sleep where we got 2.9. That was part of how I announced the tour. And
Brilliant.
Things like that
Come
that are
see
like,
this show.
instead of like hyping up the past and be like, my glory days, behold them. Just being like, man, it's the same as it ever was. It's just being like, how am I going to figure this out?
Do you remember what went through your head though? Oh, sorry, Joel, go.
No, I was just going to say, like, are you going to throw in like some dances maybe? Like, how's the choreography going? Are you going to really surprise people? Like a bit of pyro?
I know, I should.
Costume reveals?
I know, I had some. I played with Machine Gun Fellatio earlier in the year, and late last year, and they had pyro. That was the first time I've actually been on stage with pyro, and it was interesting because it was that, about that cold pyro?
Yes, that one you can sort of put your hand through.
But it's just like little. So it's actually not. Yeah, it's not hot. They're little flicks of like metal, cold metal or something.
Yeah.
You've probably
and they get on your face.
It's really weird. It's
Yeah.
really weird. But no pyro for me. I actually want my show to be no video screens, no click tracks, no backing tracks. 5 people standing on a stage, covered in flowers, play the songs.
Beautiful.
I'm going to tell the stories, and I'm going to like have an experience. Like, one of the things I think is interesting about AI is that the thing they have not yet been able to even begin to compete with is what happens when you put 200, 500, 1,000, 5,000 people in a room together, human beings, with something unpredictable. Like, I like the idea that live music, like, I like the idea that there's mistakes, and I like it going off the tracks.
Oh yeah, I'm going to see Katy Perry tonight. I'm strapped in for all of them.
Yeah.
But no two shows are ever the same, right?
Exactly, and they shouldn't be. And I think nowadays the demand for that is actually bigger than ever, because most shows you see, it's kind of interesting, the backing track thing, because it started as if it was more just in dance and hip hop and stuff, because there was a lot of more electronic elements. But then sonically it became, to compete at festivals, you had to have like really big sub basses and all this stuff. And now everyone's on tracks and no one ever has a bad show.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, how boring.
Yeah.
I want a bad show every now and then.
Or the favourite part is when everything is stripped away and it's just the musicians doing their
It was funny.
thing.
I remember when I went and saw Little Britain live, and I thought, just before I went and saw it, I watched Little Britain live on DVD, and all their little out of character moments were all scripted. So they scripted the mistakes, and I'm like, don't even do that.
And there are interesting things like 1975 have played around with that a bit. That idea of like, and that's cool. If you go in like the postmodern direction where you're like Charlie's done that, like undermining what pop culture is and playing with it, then it's cool. But if you're just trying to be out there, just like in this capitalist sense, just like competing for the ticket dollar, it's just boring. You know what I mean? It's just boring.
Now, we need to get to quick draw. I've got so many questions I want to ask you. Is DJ Dadbod still going?
Oh, yeah. DJ Dadbods, that's my alter ego. And so I have two criteria of gigs, right?
Yes.
I'll play in the sleaziest, dirtiest party that my friend runs for free.
Yep.
I'll do that.
Yep.
Or I am available for direct hiring for corporate events. No agents. Hey, marketing companies out there, you reach out directly. We'll figure something out.
Okay, perfect. Good
Yes,
stuff.
no commission. I love it.
And second question, are you in your wife's book yet?
Oh, yeah.
You are good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm the happy ending.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Hello.
Okay, let's get into this. It is quick draw time. Our Prime Minister is here, Anthony Albanese, with the rules.
I'm Anthony Albanese, and these are the official quick draw rules. Tim will give a category and a letter. The first to yell out a correct answer gets a point. The first answer you yell out is locked in. Best out of 7 wins. Ultimately, Tim will exercise his discretion.
It's just like radio 20 years ago. You still have to play a game. Okay?
Yeah. No, totally. I just instinctively tuned out. I was checking my phone. I was like, this is going to be a stupid game that I don't need to know the rules of because it's going to be completely self-explanatory once we jump into it.
Oh, it's very easy. Well, simple, not easy.
It's Ben v. Ricky. I'll do a practice question, then we'll
Okay.
come back and play for real.
I'm very competitive. I just have to warn
Okay,
you.
okay.
But you're very clever. I think
She's
wipe the floor
competitive
with
and you
me.
don't care. So it's perfect. Name something that puts you to sleep, starting with M.
Radio game. Oh, sorry.
We'll come back and play probably. Ben
Okay,
Lee's
wait,
here.
so they all start with letters?
Letters. That's
Okay,
it.
gotcha. That's the rules. That's what I should have heard.
That's
okay,
it.
Gotcha.
Ben Lee's here going to play Quick Draw for real when we come back.
Ricky Lee, Tim and Joel's Quick Draw.
Ben Lee is here. Awake is the new sleep. 20th anniversary of the tour kicks off. Ben Lee or ben-lee.com is the place to go. You are going everywhere from September 25 right through to October 18. Are you going back to any old venues? Are they?
No.
They're
No.
great venues.
How are you gonna? Do you remember the first time, like 20 years ago, like that you stepped on stage versus kind of how you're gonna feel about it now? Like, what's changed for you?
Yeah, I mean, I in some ways, I started when I was 14, so I started 30 years ago. And I just remember it literally took me at least 10 years of doing it before it started being truly fun. But around Awake is the New Sleep is when I started really having fun, like getting lost in the music.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when it gets good.
Yeah.
Was it a Sonic Youth?
Yeah, that was
show
my
you did?
first show, yeah.
That's when you were 14.
Yeah, at the Coogee Bay Hotel,
That's
Selena's.
right. There you go. It's Selena's.
Wow.
Wow.
Is that where we saw Kid Leroy?
It was.
That
We
is where
hosted
you-
Kid
Oh,
Leroy.
Kid
There
Leroy.
you go. I know my
Yes.
music.
There you go.
Oh, Joel's the music man of the team. The self-appointed music
Well,
man.
I've got some tips from you.
But
Thank you.
Canberra, Newcastle, Sydney, Byron, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Castlemaine, or Castlemaine as they say in Victoria, the Torquay Hotel, Melbourne, Adelaide, Fremantle, as I said, ben-lee.com, kicks off September 25. Awake is the New Sleep, the 20th anniversary. I think I saw you and Missy as well, not only at the State Theatre recently, but at Centennial Park.
That was huge.
That was I remember that show so well. It was
And that
so
was the
beautiful.
week after the arias where we both basically
Took over.
divided up the
Yeah.
arias between us.
Yes, I remember
So it was a real victory night.
Yeah, it really was. All right, now you know the game. You're all good to go.
Yeah.
Okay, best of 7. Here we go.
Okay.
Question number
I'm
1.
scoring.
Joel is scoring. Name something you study at uni starting with L.
Law.
Perfect.
Yep. 1 point to Ricky.
Look how good she feels about herself.
I'm so excited. You don't give a shit.
Ben, I'm your hype
Look, I'm
man.
going to do my best, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Put it that way.
You got this. You've got this.
Okay.
Name a dairy product starting with C.
Chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Good.
wow. You said yeah, okay. Yes.
No one with
cheese.
cheese. That's weird.
No.
Okay. Question number 3. Name something found in a souvenir shop starting with J.
Jewelry.
Yes, Ben. Oh, sorry. Yes, Ben. Yes. I got a bit too
Wow.
excited for you.
Wow, I need to. Okay, I'm going to change my tact. I'm going to start
Wow,
not
maybe you
giving a
should.
shit.
Yeah,
I'm going to start not caring.
No, I love this because the fact that you don't care and she really cares. Oh, it's delicious.
Name something that's round, starting with H.
Head. Some people's heads.
Not mine.
No, definitely.
I'll pay it, but I don't love it.
What about a hornball?
What's a hornball?
Like, you know when you call someone a hornball?
No,
like they're really
never.
horny?
Oh, like a horn bag.
I thought like a horn
hornball.
bag.
Yeah, a horn bag. A hornball. Like, I guess the bag wouldn't be round.
Pick the
yeah.
person with an American. You're a hornball.
Hornball.
Question number 5. Score, please, Joel.
It's 2 points apiece.
Name a world record, starting with Y.
Youngest baby.
Yeah,
Love that.
Yep.
And
I'm
it's just
paying
been
it.
broken.
All the time.
And again.
Just constantly.
It is 3 points to Ben Lee, 2 points to Ricky Lee. Ricky Lee, it is my delight to tell you need to get this next question correct to stay in the game.
Speaking
She's
of
not having a
babies,
great year of quick draw. It's amazing.
Well, I think I'm resting on my, my previous year win. I've got the Quick Draw Cup. It's the only thing I've ever won, so I'm really proud of it.
speaking of babies, name a baby food starting with B.
Banana.
Oh, banana.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Tiebreaker. Come on, Ben.
Oh, I like this one.
You
This
can
is
do
a tiebreaker
this.
question for the win. Name a famous family starting with J.
Jenner's.
Jenners. The Jenners. Yeah, that's true.
That's a pretty famous family.
Yeah.
Good to give you that one. Mate, it's so lovely to see you again. Congratulations and good luck with the tour.
Thank you so much. And Ricky, congratulations on that win, because I just feel that
I
was...
really needed it.
No, I just feel like I would have felt bad walking out with that one. I just feel like that was very important to you. So I want you to honour it, enjoy it.
Thank you.
Have a drink on me tonight.
I will. Thank you so much.
Ricky Lee, Tim and Joel on Nova.